Ooh, it's hot. It did not cool off enough. I wanted you guys to be able to see the difference of like what it looks like after care and what it looks like before care. It's like bumpy and ugly. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. Hey everyone, it is Dev the Nail Junkie, and I am going to talk about cuticle care. Some things that I'm going to be using today is our glass cuticle pusher and remover. This is super awesome. I think you guys are gonna love this if you're not familiar with this. Cuticle oil, if you have some around. I'm using Calming Chamomile, and you will also need a little wood stick pusher, or if you don't have a wood stick pusher, you can use a metal pusher if you have one. Also a little buffer. So whatever buffer you have, I'm just using this disposable one. Some cottons, probably a paper towel. And another thing that I have is a little bowl of warm water. That would be great. So before we get started, there are a couple of things that I do want to mention. In the state of Hawaii, it is actually illegal to cut cuticles. So you are not supposed to use a nipper on your cuticles. There's an exception to the rule. You're allowed to if it is dead hard skin that is like lifting up, but you cannot cut live tissue. So for example, let me show you. So like if the tissue is still attached to the nail, like how it is here, sorry, not the nail, but the cuticle area, like how it is here, you cannot cut that. That is illegal to cut in the state of Hawaii. That's just our state law. Every state, different states have different laws about cuticle care and nippers, etc. But in the state of Hawaii, yeah, that it's a big no-no. So I am not going to be using a nipper in this video. Also, in general, I kind of don't recommend it if you are not a professional and not used to using cuticle nippers. I don't really recommend it because I've seen a lot of people over nip and then they end up cutting themselves and bleeding, and you know, it just leaves room for bacteria and you know, bad things to happen, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So I'm going to be doing nipper-free cuticle care. So this is a really, really bad coat of, what is this? Frozen, but I wanted to use this polish because it was the best way to show you the importance of cuticle care. And let me show you here. You see this little ridge? I noticed it was most visible when I used Frozen. I tried other polishes and it didn't work. Also, I am right hand dominant, so I'm going to be using my left hand today. So bear with me. But it's these kinds of bumps here. You can kind of even see it when I turn the nail, that cause really ugly polish when you apply top coat, when you apply whatever base. It just doesn't look nice, and it's not going to go away when you apply a top coat either. You'll still see it through your polish, and it just doesn't look good. This was a nail that I did earlier that I removed all that hard dead skin, and you can see that the polish application is nice and smooth around my cuticle area. So I wanted you guys to be able to see the difference of like what it looks like after care and what it looks like before care. So you can see here it's like really bumpy and ugly. So yeah, so let's get to it. So these are my nails, and I'm going to remove this polish so that way you guys can see my natural nail underneath. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the polish with 100% acetone and a cotton pad. And today we also are not gonna be going into nail shaping just because it takes a while. It takes years sometimes, and even still, like I've seen some professional work where the shaping was just kind of rough. In nail school, they teach you a little bit about it, but they don't go in depth on how to get perfect shaped nails every single time. Again, it is like a whole thing. Okay, now you can see my natural nails. So I have a little bit of a broken crack there. But for the most part, even though it's a little dry now, you can see that I don't really have anything here because I cleaned it off. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is where the ridge was, or that little like bump of hard skin. So let me see if I can show you. It's like right there. It's this tiny little line. And you can't really even see it when the nail is naked, but it makes a huge difference when I apply polish, especially for a color like this. Any of these types of metallic colors will enhance any imperfection that is on the nail, any bump, anything. So it's really important to make sure that this area is nice and smooth and clean when you're polishing your nails. It will improve your manicure, it'll improve the look, and also the longevity of your manicure. So, to get started, I recommend using a little bowl of water. I'm using warm water. You can use warm water with some soap if you want. I just didn't feel like adding the soap today. And then I'm just going to dry it off with a paper towel. You can soak your hands for a little bit. Ooh, it's hot. It did not cool off enough. Maybe it'd be easier to do it this way. Okay. Because this water is super hot, I thought it would cool off by now. It didn't. I'm just going to put a wet cotton ball on my nail, or cotton pad. This also works because the whole point is that you want to soften up that skin and you want to gently push away that hardened skin. You don't want to like scrape hard at it. You don't want to scrape your nail. It's literally just a gentle pushing motion. You do not need much pressure at all, especially with our amazing cuticle pusher / remover. This thing is so awesome, guys. It's got like a little bit of a file grit on each end, which I'll show you after, and it works beautifully, so you really don't have to do much work to push away any of that junk. You can just kind of lightly press. Okay, so now that the nail is a little bit moisturized and wet, you are going to use your cuticle pusher. Oh, whoops. Before we do that, you can use a wood pusher. I am going to be using my metal pusher. I think that'd be a little bit easier for me. And you just want to do small circles. Again, I am right hand dominant, so this is a little bit of a stretch for me using my left hand, but it's not hard, and you're not going like directly like this. You want to angle it so that your pusher is more down, closer to your nail. And then you're just going to gently create these tiny little circles to push away the junk. We're not trying to scrape your nail. And it should not require a lot of pressure for you to push this away, especially if you've soaked your nails in water. Look, you can already see it. You can see that little white stuff that is being pushed off. So just gently press in tiny little circles. Just kind of, especially in these corner areas, you just want to gently push it. I'll show you what it looks like when I do that with one of these wood sticks. You're going to use this side, and you always want to use the flat side against your nails, and just gently kind of push away all that junk. So I'm going in circles like this so that when I get to here, I can just kind of push it out. So I'm not just like doing all different circles in all different directions. I recommend just working in one direction and then gently going along the whole nail bed or the whole cuticle area. Okay. So after that's done, you can already see that there's like some gunk over here. That's what we want. We want to push all of that stuff up. grab your cuticle glass pusher and remover. I'm going to be using this flat side. And then you're just going to go back over there in small circles with very light pressure. You're just going to do the same thing. And there, look, you can already see. You see this little dust that's coming up? Oh yeah, it just came off. So that was all of that stuff that we were trying to push away. So again, it's a little bit of a slower process, especially if you're using your non-dominant hand like me. And you notice that I'm kind of only going around the cuticle line. You don't need to do the whole nail. For me, I particularly get, you see this little white line thing here? I notice that I always have like a buildup right there. So for me, I'm just gonna like kind of do a little bit more there. I'm gonna go around one more time. So again, as you can see, I am not pushing hard. This has a grit on it. It's a very, very fine grit, but it's enough to remove all of that junk. Look, you can see it right here. And you just wanna keep going at it. I think that's pretty good. Looks like I got most of it. You can just run, from time to time, I'll just kind of rub my finger across this area to make sure it feels smooth. If I can still feel those weird little bumps under it, you know, that I'll keep doing it some more, but if not, then it's good to go. So sometimes you'll see things like this where I still see a little white line. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is the hardened cuticle skin. It just might just be a little white line. So again, make sure you are not overdoing it. Be very gentle with this area because this is where the new nail grows. So you don't want to damage that. So just run your finger over it and see if you can still feel anything. Sometimes I'll even take my nail and just kind of go like this because I'll be able to feel if there's like a bump, which I cannot feel any bumps here. Yeah, I don't feel anything. So after that, have a cotton pad. And you can use 100% alcohol if you want, or if you would prefer, you could just use water. I'm going to be using alcohol. I'm just going to wipe that away so I can kind of see a little better in there and see if there's anything else I need to continue to remove. So I'm going to just fold this here so that way I can kind of push a little bit more and remove any dust. Okay, so after you do that, and now we've kind of removed all of that rough, bumpy stuff that was over here, go ahead and take a buffer. Now, when you're buffing your nails, you do not need to press hard. You don't need to do this for very long. Buffing your nails lightly does not damage them. It does not thin them out. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about, is buffing bad? Using something like the 150 grit, that's an absolute no-no to buff because the grit is way too strong and it is meant to be used on enhancements. So you don't need something like this. You just need something that has a very fine grit and is very soft. So I am just going to gently buff the nail. And again, when I'm doing this, I pull back my skin. So you'll see that I'm like using one hand or one finger to like pull back the skin while the other hand is holding the tool. So now I'm just gonna wipe away any excess dust, and that's basically it for the most part. Now the nail is ready to be painted, so I can show you guys now the difference that it'll make. Also, for those of you who are like, why is her nail so pointed? I usually file my nails a lot thinner because when I apply gel, it makes the nail thicker. So I prefer not to have such wide nails because I know that when I apply the gel, it's going to make my nails wider. I'm using the calcium rich base coat, and I'm just gonna go ahead and try to apply. And then you guys can see the full effect. Once this dries, I will apply the white frozen polish, and you can see the difference that it made around here. So now that the nail is dry, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the frozen polish so you can see the difference. Again, please forgive me if my application is not perfect. I am using my left hand to apply polish even though I'm right hand dominant. Oh, yay. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so again, obviously it's not a perfect straight line, but you can already see that I don't have that gross bump that was there before. And it's nice and smooth along that area. Even though this polish line isn't perfect, there are no bumps. There's no hard cuticle skin that is around here. And yeah, made a huge difference. Usually I don't apply cuticle oil until the very, very end because when it comes to nail enhancements, including polish, you actually want the nail to be dehydrated. That's why using rubbing alcohol to 100% alcohol to wipe the nail after you're done with your cuticle care is good because it helps to sanitize and dehydrate the nail, which preps it for base coat, and you want it to be able to like adhere to your natural nail, and it cannot adhere to your natural nail as best as it possibly could if the nail is oily. So that is the reason why I don't usually apply cuticle oil to the nail until at the very, very end. And even with that, the cuticle oil really only needs to be on this part of your nail and your finger, because this is where the natural nail starts growing from. So this is what needs it the most. It being up here, that's a preference if you want, but it's really not needed. And the thing is that if you have polish on, it's not going to matter anyways. So sorry guys, I was trying to paint it and it was just not working from this angle with all these things in my face. But I'm just going to go ahead and apply some cuticle oil now, and I'm just going to really slap that on. And then you can just kind of massage this area because this is where your nail matrix is. And you want your nails to grow nice and happy. So in this case, obviously I did get cuticle oil on my nail, but I'm not planning to put polish on this after, and I'll probably just like let my nails be for a day or two before I put my gel back on. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you do try these techniques or you end up getting this and it changes your life, make sure you mention us or hashtag us. We love hearing about your nail journey. It is so much fun for all of us to kind of read through it. And I hope you have an amazing day. Talk to you guys later. Bye.